Today I'd like to do a product review on a very compact pocket radio that I've currently been using as part of my EDC system. This is the Sangean DT-180 Type 2 FM stereo AM PLL synthesized pocket radio. Yes, it's quite a mouthful. It has 15 memory preset stations, which is 10 FM, 5 AM, has an LCD display, has auto seek, has a stereo earphone jack, low battery indicator, 90-minute auto shutoff, has a DBB, which stands for dynamic bass boost. It runs on 2 AAA batteries. So as you may notice, it has no external speaker. This particular radio is designed specifically to be used with headphones. So for this product review, I'm going to be bringing in extra little speaker system here to demo the audio portion of the product review. So for those of you that still like having a dedicated radio other than just having something, a radio app on your smartphone, this product review is for you. This is the Sangean DT-180 Pocket Radio. Before starting this product review, I just wanted to answer a few questions that seem to be commonly asked for this particular radio. And the first question is, what does Type 2 mean? So Type 2 for the Sangean DT-180, that basically means it's the newest version of this particular model. There's some differences in the DSP tuner. It includes 2 AAA batteries instead of just 1 AAA battery, and there's a reconfiguration of some of the controls on it. So that's basically all that the Type 2 of the name stands for. Also, for people that are curious on what PLL synthesized means, that basically stands for phase lock loop, and it's basically used to demodulate a signal, to recover a signal from a noisy communication channel, generate a stable frequency, basically make it sound better. So those are some of the common questions regarding the Sangean DT-180. The user controls of the Sangean DT-180 are very convenient. They're kind of similar to what you would find with the Sangean DT-400W, but I find that it has some improvements with that as well. And it's definitely an improvement over an analog radio similar to this Kato KA200. So let's turn it on. So let me just go through all the basic controls of this particular pocket radio. So the power button is located here on the left, so a short press would turn it on. Please note that the radio signals doesn't sound as well for these tabletop reviews because the studio lights that I use kind of affect the signal. So short press turns it on. It is also what is used to change the band. So another short press, it'll go to the next band, to FM radio, FM2, and back to AM. So if you do a long press, that's going to turn off the device. Now when you turn it on, if you'll notice here it has a little 90-minute clock. I'll zoom in really quick for it. That's what some of the controls look like. So here's the dynamic bass boost right there. You could turn that on and off through this button. You'll really notice that when you're on the FM stations. So as you hear, really no bass. And then you'll hear it on this. So as you notice, there's that little 90-minute clock there. That's basically the auto shut-off, so it's going to shut off after 90 minutes. So if you happen to turn this on accident while it's in your pocket, you're not going to totally drain your battery. You have your battery indicator there. There's the band. That's kind of the signal strength. So if you want to start it without having that 90-minute shut-off, let's just do a long press to turn it off again, and then you want to do a long press to turn it on. So just long press, and you'll watch it disappear. There. So now it'll stay on indefinitely, and if it drains your batteries, it'll drain your batteries. Let me zoom out again. Oops. Zoom in. Alright, so here's all the memory presets. So on the right here is where you could do the scanning. So you could do individual scans just by going up or down. What I find to be the most convenient, though, is pressing it, and it's going to do a little search for you. The signal is going to blink like that for about 5 seconds. It's going to go on to the next station. So I'll let it go through one more iteration. Okay, so I like this station, so I'm going to press it again, and now it's set on that. So if I wanted to, I could use the memory preset here, press and hold, and there it's going to be set to memory 4 for that FM1. So as you can see, very simple controls, volume up, volume down, mono stereo, here's the DBB. In the back here it also has a lock button, so if you flip this on, you'll see a little orange over here, and now none of the buttons are going to work for you while it's locked. It'll indicate that to you as well on the LCD display. So this is very convenient if you have it in your pocket and you don't want it to turn off or switch to a different memory station or have the volume adjust. So it'll only do that once you remove it from the lock position. So opening it up the back here, as you can see, it runs on 2 AAA batteries. The best thing about this little pocket radio is the size and weight of it. So let's put it on the scale really quick. So as you can see, it weighs 2.5 ounces. That's with batteries included in it. So let's see, the height of it is 3.5 inches, which is 8.89 centimeters. The width is 1.5 inches, which is 3.81 centimeters. And the thickness is ½ an inch, which is 1.27 centimeters. So let's bring out some other radios just to use as a comparison. So again, here's the Kato KA200 and the Sangean DT-400W. So as you can see, it's about the same size lengthwise as the Kato. It's probably a little bit longer than the Kato, but not by much. And definitely much smaller than the DT-400. Here's a smartphone here. This is the Galaxy S4 to use as a comparison as well. So where you really notice the size differences in the thickness. So I think the Kato 200 is a very tiny little pocket radio, but the Sangean, as you can see, is a lot thinner than it. Here it is with the DT-400. And it's not quite as thin as your average smartphone, but it's pretty thin. Here it is compared to a deck of cards. So as you can see, the Sangean DT-180 is quite small and compact, perfect for EDC use. Let's start going through the pros and cons of this little radio. Starting off first with the pros. So the best thing about this little pocket radio is by far the size of it. It's a very compact radio with a lot of features. It's very thin, as you can see. It's not going to bulge out in any kind of pockets. It's also very lightweight. So it's very convenient to carry. The next pro I have is the digital tuning is just really, really good. Let me put it back in here again. So auxiliary cable, turn it on. It's just really nice having digital tuning. I mean, I'm used to a lot of my radios with the analog tuning, and just being able to do scan features. It's just really, really convenient. And the memory presets are awesome as well. I really like having that for EDC purposes, quick tuning. I have all my stations programmed in there and quickly change to them. So memory preset stations are really great. I love that it has a flat bottom to it, so you could do a tail stand if you didn't have this little auxiliary cable here. So it's very easy to do a tail stand, which is kind of a requirement I have for a lot of my EDC items. I also really like the locking feature of it. That happens so often where I might accidentally turn on the radio. For example, the Kato KA200 doesn't have that kind of feature. So the locking's great on it, and I also like that it has that auto shut off, because it does. Sometimes you do end up bumping a button on it and accidentally turning it on, and so having that auto shut off is very convenient. So let's move on now to the cons. So the number one con with this radio is the price. This is an expensive radio. This costs around $40, which is very expensive, especially when you compare it to the Kato KA200, which is a similar size, but this radio only costs you $10. So you could buy 4 of these little Kato radios, put them in different kits for the cost that you would get one of these Sangean DT-180s. And when you compare that to the DT-400W, which costs around $55, if you spend 15 more bucks, you can get this radio, which also has NOAA weather bands, which we'll talk about in a little bit more detail. The next con that I have for this radio is the headphones that come with it. They shouldn't even include headphones with these radios. This is the second Sangean pocket radio that I've had where the headphones are just absolute crap, and they broke on me almost immediately after getting them. So, but for me it wasn't a big issue because I like having better headphones anyway. I find the ones that are included with a lot of these usually aren't that good, and the Sangean ones are definitely meet that, because as soon as I open it up out of the package, the headphones broke on me, the earbuds and everything. So I think they shouldn't even just have them in the case with it. They're pretty pointless. Next con I have with it is that there's no it's kind of a design feature for the compact size. There's no external speakers, so if you don't happen to have your headphones with you, this radio is not going to do you much good compared to other radios that does have an external speaker where you could use it with or without any headphones. But for EDC use, most of the time, I always had headphones with me. Another con I have is that there's no belt clip on it. For EDC or pocket radio use, I really like having a belt clip type feature, so you can put it on your pants pocket if you want to go jogging or anything like that. You're going to really have to, they call it a pocket radio, and you're really going to have a pocket for it. Next, let's see. It doesn't retain the preset station once the batteries are replaced. So if you take the batteries out on there, put them back in, you're going to lose all your stations, your memory presets up here, which is just kind of inconvenient. This one's not a real con, but for the price, for $40, I really wish it'd be awesome if it had NOAA weather band on there, similar to what you would get with the DT-400W. That's just something I wish for that kind of price point. It'd be a real cool feature to have. Sometimes I don't really like that the power button's also the band button. Sometimes it gets a little confusing during operation when you compare it to one of again, to the DT-400W. It has a separate power button, and then it has its own band button. So this one is just, saving it and just having one button for both of those features. But I do find that sometimes I try to turn it off. I'm thinking I'm turning it off, and it's just really just changing the band. Moving on, there's no alarm clock functionality, so as you notice there is a clock on this. I thought it'd be pretty cool if you had some kind of alarm clock, but since there's no external speaker, I guess that's not really doable. The digital display is not backlit, so if you're in a dark room, you're not going to be able to read the LCD on it. So it'd be kind of cool if it had a backlit to it. And you can't really normalize the volume, so you're going to have to adjust the volume as needed per station. So those are what I have listed for the cons of the Sangean DT-180. In summary, I really like this Sangean DT-180 radio, despite some of the cons that I listed with it. It's a great EDC radio, it's very thin, the memory presets are awesome. I do have radio apps with my smartphone, but I find that having a dedicated radio is a lot more reliable for me. Number one, the batteries just last forever on this thing with the two AAAs compared to what you get out of a smartphone. Two, it doesn't really suck down your data plan. Also, I find it to be more reliable in a crowded situations. For example, if you're at a stadium where there's 60,000 people, chances are you're not going to be able to use the data plan on your smartphone, but you will be able to use this pocket radio. So again, this is the Sangean DT-180 Type 2 FM stereo AM PLL synthesized pocket radio. Please feel free to leave any kind of comments below in the comment section, and I hope you guys enjoyed this product review. Talk to you later.